Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another First Impressions video. In today's First Impressions video, we are taking a look at the Resilient Jolene S Suppressor. And before we get this video started, as always, I wanted to give a huge shout out to this video's sponsor, which is, of course, Seal One. Seal One makes a wide variety of firearms cleaning and maintenance supplies. They have been supporting the channel now for years, and long before our partnership, I have been using their stuff to clean all the stuff in my collection. It comes in a bunch of different flavors. You got liquid, aerosol, and paste. I'm more of a paste guy myself. I kind of use it like a grease. But pretty much anything you're interested in, they have it. They even have bow care products and Sub-Zero Seal One, so it's going to do a much better job in the low temperatures and not freeze your gun up. They're also offering you guys a 25% off discount code. All you have to do is put FF-25 in the discount code section, and that's going to get you 25% off of your order. FF-25. I greatly appreciate your support. Another Resilient suppressor on the channel for review. In full disclosure, Resilient did send me this Jolene S to take a look at for free on this channel. There was no exchange of money or anything like that, and Resilient has been pretty awesome. They have never asked me to say anything other than honest thoughts about their products in these videos. And this is going to be an honest video about the Jolene S and my experiences so far. The Simple Man that I recently did a review on is essentially the steel version of the titanium Jolene S that is here. Now, this Jolene S compared to the Simple Man is so unbelievably light. That is probably one of the first huge pros of the Jolene S. If you are looking for a can that essentially doesn't feel like it's on the end of your gun, that would be the Jolene S here. It is a full titanium suppressor, and it does come with a standard direct thread mount. I can't remember if this was the direct thread mount that came with it or one of the other ones that I had, but the direct thread mount, really whatever direct thread mount you put in here, actually gets recessed slightly underneath the end of the thread. So it doesn't sit flush, it actually sits a little deeper, and that's kind of cool if you want to slightly tuck the suppressor underneath a rail. And that's actually exactly what I did with the suppressor. I was primarily running it on a 16-inch 5.56 gun that the rail was 16-inch and the barrel is 16.5. So it gives you about a ½ inch there of wiggle room when it comes to threads. And I was able to actually sneak this can just underneath the end, and it just butted up against the rail perfectly with just about a paper distance in between, a paper length distance in between, and it was really an excellent setup for that rifle, especially with how lightweight this can is. I'm a little bit indifferent about the Jolene S because to me it was a quiet enough suppressor, but the tone, which you guys may have heard in the testing portion of the front part of this video, was a little bit sharp. And that was kind of what I heard throughout the day. So it was one of those things where it was not the most quiet suppressor that I've heard in this size and form. Now, this is a K, essentially, Jolene version. They do have a full-size version that has 4 or 5 more baffles. So if you're looking for the utmost sound quality and sound reduction, the standard Jolene is going to be where it's at. But what I was doing is kind of comparing the size of the Jolene S to other suppressors like the Polonium K, the Omega 300, the M4 2000, pretty much any other standard. The RC2 is also going to be about this size. And this, out of the whole lineup, was definitely on the slightly louder end of the spectrum to my ears. I do not have a decibel meter out there at the range. So a lot is going to come into play with what gun I'm running it on, with what type of atmospheric conditions are in there today. But those were just the results that I found personally. As a side note, on the testing platforms, I ran it also on a 308 AR-10. That was not my rifle, and it was a rifle we were diagnosing a problem with on the upper. More specifically, it was not wanting to run suppressed. So if you're wondering why in the hell I'm shooting a rifle without sights on it, that would be why. It was not my gun, and we just simply needed to test fire it to see if it was running suppressed. And it actually did run suppressed with the Jolene S, but it was still able to use it as a sound platform to see exactly what we were hearing. In all of the B-roll videos, the can sounds fine. And I think in overall decibels, this is very competitive with a lot of other suppressors on the market. But again, that's where tone kind of plays a little bit of a role into how exactly it sounds to your ears. You're going to have other suppressors that may even meter a little louder, but they have a very deep tone, and it somehow sounds a little bit better on the ears. I love the overall look of the suppressor, so that is a huge plus. It has the exact same look as the Simple Man, and I should note that I found the tone of the Simple Man and the overall noise reduction of the Simple Man actually better than the Jolene S, surprisingly. So I'm not exactly sure why that would be, and I know there's not many other reviews out there, so maybe others are not having the exact same experience. But in my case, again, look, huge plus, weight, huge plus, and also I should note that this is a tougher grade titanium. So although it is not, we'll say, super fast fire rated, it is going to be rated up to 750 degrees. So I am not somebody that typically does a lot of hunting, but this is really advertised for more of a hunting suppressor. And in my case, I was actually running it just like I run any of my other cans, not just mag dump after mag dump, but just standard shooting, quick 5 rounds, quick 10 rounds, and it really did not have any issues whatsoever. The beauty of titanium, especially without having an outer sleeve, is that I've noticed it does heat up quickly, but it also cools incredibly quickly. And that's what I experienced with this. So I don't think you would have any issues using this as just a standard setup. I really wanted to run this on my 300 Blackout, but that leads us into my other gripe with the Jolene S series and also the Simple Man, and that is that it is hub compatible, but the blast baffle has a shelf right in the internal section there that you guys can see. And although the threads are hub compatible, I've talked about this in my Simple Man review, you're going to have a really hard time fitting any muzzle device that is larger than a Rearden size device that you see here. And that is just, it is what it is. I would love to see in the future Resilient just inch this out ever so slightly to allow it to be truly hub compatible. And I don't think it's necessarily an issue that it was kind of designed to be used with the Rearden mounts, but I would definitely kind of preface that. I think a lot of folks like myself and others who have dove heavily into full-size chemo devices and Silencer Co. ASR devices, the flash hiders, the 3-chamber brakes, are going to be looking at a suppressor like this and assuming like, okay, cool, it's hub compatible, I can run it on everything, and it's just really not the case. So I am now finally switching over to Rearden devices, and the reason why I brought this out with my Atlas XL mount is this fits perfectly. There's absolutely no issues. I wouldn't expect there to be because they did spec it out for Rearden. So just kind of be aware of that. If you want to use this with a semi-quick detach system, Rearden essentially is going to be the only way to go. I would imagine with the price point of this can being around $6.99, that most people are treating it kind of like a Silencer Co. Harvester or a Harvester Evo sort of deal where you're pretty much gonna run it direct thread. And that is what I'm planning on doing. With my Simple Man, I'm definitely running that with the Rearden stuff. That's why I bought this. But with the Jolene, it's a titanium can. It's really more set up to cut the edge off. So I am going to use it direct thread. Let me know what you think about the Jolene S down in the comment section below. While you're down there, head up to the description, check out those links to support the channel, and as always, stay tuned for more great videos coming soon.